maybe we should put this question to John Yoo, who's with us now, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General under former President George W. Bush. John, it's good to talk to you again. It's been a while. So this idea that Letitia James campaigned on a pledge to get Trump, how should that be looked at by the general public?
People should understand that in states like New York, attorney generals, even district attorneys like Alvin Bragg, who's also bringing the criminal cases against Donald Trump, are elected by the people of New York. They are partisan elections, Republicans versus Democrats. But what people should ask is, are what they're doing in the best interests of the people of the state? Is it a good idea for the state of New York, on behalf of its people, to use its vast law enforcement powers to go after and single out President Trump for things where nobody is claiming they were harmed? No one claims they were actually defrauded. There doesn't seem to have been any losses suffered by any banks or law firms or accounting firms here. On the other side, what the Attorney General of New York may be doing and what the courts may be doing here is sending a message. New York City is the greatest financial center in the country, if not the world. Are they now going to start using their vast powers to say, we're happy to have you come to New York as long as you're a Democrat to do business, but if you're a conservative, we're going to use the powers of law enforcement against you? That may undermine the position of New York, the city, and the state as the nation's great financial capital and place to do business.
John, there was some reporting to suggest that perhaps the former president wanted to show up voluntarily because he can make, his own strong argument most effectively himself. But New York Times also tied it back to his decision not to appear, for instance, at the civil case involving the E. Jean Carroll allegations. He was found liable in that, and there was some thought potentially that his voluntary appearance here could change the outcome. Where do you see that at all?
I think there's a real conflict between President Trump's best legal strategy and his best political strategy. He's already lost this case. All that these proceedings are doing now is deciding how much punishment is going to be meted out by the court. To compare it to criminal trial, it's as if he's already been convicted. Now it's just a question of the sentencing. So if his legal advice would probably be not to attack the judges, not to attack the district attorney, try to reach some kind of sensible compromise. But his political strategy, of course, is to attack the judge. You heard him call the judge a rogue judge. You called him, call the attorney general of the state of New York a racist. This is all going to defeat his efforts to do better in court, but it may help him in his political campaign, of course.
Yeah, I think, John, he may already believe that he's been defeated in court. I think he takes a look at that judge and the public posture that the judge is taking and thinking to himself, I don't have a hope in HE double hockey sticks here, and so I'm just going to make this as much of a political statement as I can. But help us, if you could, with your vast legal knowledge on the legal aspect of this. Nobody was hurt here. You don't have banks screaming that, oh, we were defrauded and we gave him loans that were never repaid. A property is worth what somebody is willing to pay for it. So whether or not the judge in New York says Mar-a-Lago is worth $18 million or Trump says it's worth $1 billion, it's worth whatever somebody's willing to pay for it. So where is the crime here? I think Americans are having a difficult time trying to figure that out.
John, that's a great question. And, when you search through, put aside President Trump's political attacks on the New York justice system, he's got an interesting legal argument there, which is, can a state say someone has defrauded the people of New York when they actually haven't committed fraud against any individual person or party that's willing to go and produce themselves in court? How is the state of New York, how are the people of New York harmed if President Trump borrows money? Maybe he exaggerated his financial statements, maybe not, but he repaid the loans. The banks didn't complain. No one complained. So one other important thing, John, this is not a criminal case. So President Trump is not going to go to jail. None of his family members are going to go to jail. This is a civil case where all they're going to look to do, the state is trying to do, is get money back and is trying maybe to get an order putting the Trump organization out of business in the state of New York.
Big deal for sure, and something that is very important to the former president. His businesses, obviously, central function of everything about him. John Yoo, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John. Good to see you. Appreciate you joining us.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.